encourages, and lifts up the soul, then Rhythm of Faith is the show for you. Artist of the Week showcase, persons that gives you the story behind the song. Catch Rhythm of Faith, Sundays, 6 p.m., ZNS Television Network.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
If you're looking for a show that inspires, encourages, and lifts up the soul, then Rhythm of Faith is the show for you. Artist of the Week showcase, persons that gives you the story behind the song. Catch Rhythm of Faith, Sundays, 6 p.m., ZNS Television Network.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, a landmark $600 million agreement signed to expand Grand Bahama Shipyard. Plus, Prime Minister tours Celebration Key's $600 million mega cruise port. And could a delay in bridge repairs be impacting investor confidence? The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, everyone. I'm Raven Davis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, Carnival's new $600 million mega cruise port continuing to make waves on Grand Bahama. As the project progresses, the nation's leader, along with other government officials, were given a first-hand tour of the property. The nation's leader calling the major development a welcomed addition to Grand Bahama. Our Jolanda Thompson-Everest joins us live in studio with the latest. Jolanda?
That's right, Raven. The multi-million-dollar Carnival Celebration Key is taking shape. The new cruise port is expected to provide opportunities for local businesses during the construction phase and draw millions of tourists to Grand Bahama each year. The nation's leader stating that this major development produces economic impact, employment growth, and new hope for the island's resilient recovery.
Actually looking towards the east, we have 3.5 acres of pool and
the nation's leader, accompanied by his Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation Chester Cooper, as well as the Minister for Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxie. According to Carnival officials, the construction site has over 200 Bahamians employed and 32 subcontractors who are all working in tandem to bring the island's major development closer to its completion date.
Really impressed at the advanced stage of this development. This is something that's been on the drawing board for many years, and to see it coming out of the ground in the fashion it is truly invigorating to me.
29 subcontractors are Bahamians, which the Prime Minister says is even more important.
Building these buildings and working, which is, again, the idea of my government to ensure that Bahamians are involved in building.
The Deputy Prime Minister, Chester Cooper, citing that this particular tour and the progression of the construction demonstrates investor confidence in this country.
The millions that will come here and go outside the gates to really enjoy the product that Grand Bahama Island has to offer. So I'm looking forward to completion.
The Deputy Prime Minister furthers that Grand Bahama has a great brand and that the construction of the port is telling a compelling story about Grand Bahama's future more than ever.
You see the Lucayan National Park, for example, and when you go a little further out, you see the flats of Sweetings Key, the sandbars.
The Minister for Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxie, speaking to the spin-off opportunities of the project and thanks the Davis-led administration for the determination and drive in ensuring Grand Bahama's economic boost becomes a reality.
Thank the Carnival Cruise Line Corporation and, of course, our own Prime Minister, our Deputy Prime Minister, who have put so much into ensuring that this happens for the people of Grand Bahama Island.
Now, according to Carnival officials, the completion date remains on target for 2025. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Yolanda. Well, more good news for the island as today marks a major milestone for Grand Bahama. The government has signed a heads of agreement with Royal Caribbean Group, Carnival Corporation, and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. The historic $600 million deal will expand the Grand Bahama shipyard and transform Grand Bahama into a premier hub for maritime services. I was there for this major announcement.
The shipyard is a part of a surge of investment for Grand Bahama.
At the groundbreaking ceremony last year, officials announced that the first of the new docks would be in service by January 1, 2026, with the second dock operational later that year. According to shipyard CEO David Scantleberry, that timeline remains on track.
The infrastructure work taking place at the yard started within days of the groundbreaking ceremony. We're on schedule to complete that infrastructure work ahead of the arrival of the docks. Our focus in the yard now is very much on ramping up for the increased business levels. The new large dock will be called the Lucayan Dock and will be registered under the Bahamian flag in Nassau. The smaller of the two docks will be called the East End Dock after a well-known part of our island and also registered in Nassau.
Now, the project is expected to bring billions of dollars in economic impact over the next 25 years, and Prime Minister Davis has pledged to ensure fair and just working conditions.
In 5 years, we anticipate some 1,200 employees will benefit from gainful employment at the shipyard, the majority of whom will be full-time Bahamian workers. I say full-time Bahamian workers, Linda, because my government remains attentive to the issues surrounding seasonal and casual labor.
Officials say this joint venture will position Grand Bahama as a hub for maritime and logistics.
Since its inception, the Grand Bahama Shipyard has been a cornerstone of our local economy. And this ambitious project will undoubtedly inject new life into it.
As the biggest or one of the biggest industrial projects in the Caribbean, as one of the biggest shipyards of its kind in the world with the capacity to do the lifting of the biggest ships in the world, this truly is a big, big deal for Grand Bahama.
The smaller of the two new docks has a lifting capacity of some 93,500 tons, while the larger dock can handle up to 130,000 tons, demonstrating a capability to service a wide range of vessels.
We've made remarkable progress. We've increased the water depth in the dry dock locations by 20 to 25 feet. The pier extension is well underway. Steel has been cut and assembly has begun for the two world-class floating docks.
This $600 million transformation project puts the Bahamas at the epicenter of shipping.
The Grand Bahama Shipyard Limited is 20% owned by the Port Group Limited. GBPA Director Rupert Hayward calling the event a testament to what can be achieved when stakeholders work together.
This project will create a huge positive impact for many generations of Grand Bahamians and on the Bahamas as a whole, generating significant work for local contractors, thousands of full-time jobs, and a plethora of associated opportunities.
By 2026, the Grand Bahama Shipyard's expansion will transform it into the largest floating dock ship repair facility in the Western Hemisphere, reclaiming its status as the world's foremost cruise ship repair hub. For the In other news, could a dilapidated bridge on Grand Bahama threaten the sale of a multi-million-dollar hotel deal? Well, the legal team for the Tino Beach Resort believes that the condition of a bridge is potentially endangering the investments made by his client and other developers. Shalia Roll has more in this report.
The only access to Smith's Point, various restaurants and tourist attractions in the area has been under renovation for almost a year. While residents have already voiced their concerns on this issue, concerns are now rising with potential investors. Back in 2023, the Lucaya Service Company closed the western two lanes of the four-lane bridge, narrowing it into a dual carriageway. Now, the legal representative for the Tino Beach Resort and affiliated hotels say that the lack of repairs is a major concern.
If the bridge has to be closed, or if the bridge became impossible to pass over, then all those people that live over on the island, all the tourists that want to visit over the island, will not be able to get there except by boat.
Now, Terrence Gape, a senior partner at Depuchin Turnquest, says that the Tino Beach Resort is expected to be sold for $18 million. But here is what investors are concerned about.
We are trying to sell a resort over there, the Tino Beach Resort. And if the bridge is not passable, that sale is probably at risk.
The slow repairs of the bridge also catching the eye of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and PLP Chairman, Minister Fred Mitchell. He is once again reiterating that the owners of the city needs to step up.
This again goes to the heart of what is at risk in this community about investment, which is the central body that is responsible for promoting investment are the owners of the city. And the owners of the city, in the frankest terms, are the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And the question is whether or not they're performing their role as the owner of the city to ensure that the level of investment in the city continues and that people know that when they come here, the necessary infrastructure is going to be in place for the city to operate.
Mitchell is of the view that this is expected to have an effect on the economy.
So, again, this just points out the concern that people have about the impact of this economy and the ability of the people who are the owners of the city to manage the city so that the economy can continue to grow.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Roll.
Now, we reached out to the Grand Bahama Port Authority for a comment, but did not receive one up to news time. Well, switching gears now, the opposition leader taking a strong stance on Wednesday, criticizing the Davis administration, alleging its failure to address key issues in Grand Bahama on the backdrop of rising tensions surrounding the Grand Bahama Port Authority. This as government is accusing Pintard of being ineffective, with Pintard himself calling for new regulatory frameworks on the island. Devontae Hanna takes it from there.
Opposition Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard on Wednesday making it clear that, in his words, the Davis administration has failed the island of Grand Bahama.
Your attempts at deflection does not change the fact that you're not improving the airlift in Grand Bahama. You have not built the airport. Hopefully we can get the hotel sold. That West Grand Bahama, in fact, continue to deteriorate on your watch.
It comes as the Progressive Liberal Party touts an increased amount of investment on the island. This is just today. Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis, along with the Minister of Grand Bahama, the Honourable Ginger Moxie, toured the highly anticipated Carnival cruise port, which received an additional $100 million in investment.
It takes a while to get this all ratcheted up. So he really has a bloody nerve to be talking about airport and developments of infrastructure in Grand Bahama when he sat in the cabinet and did nothing to advance the city where his constituents live.
That's PLP Chairman the Honourable Frederick Mitchell, who echoed the Prime Minister in calling Pintard a, quote, water boy for the Grand Bahama Port Authority, as a spat of words over a proposed increase of its subsidiary loans. Pintard, however, is calling for a new regulatory regime for the island, inclusive of shareholders releasing their ownership.
This regime should include members who are shareholders, many of you who may wish to buy shares, members of the government may also appoint someone to the board. Licensees should have a say in who governs it. And of course, there should be elected members who will also serve as a part of this regulatory regime.
He also denied receiving $5 million from the regulatory board, maintaining he cannot be bought.
It is an absolute lie. Not 5 million, not 4 million, not 3 million, we could go, I won't know how much they got.
Tonight, Mitchell is urging Pintard to pick a side, noting his alleged history with the GBPA.
I've been to 2 demonstrations in Grand Bahama. Both have to do with the increases in power. Hiram Lewis was there, but the leader of the opposition was absent and lost in space, nowhere to be found. And only when he was forced by the press to give an answer, he tried to have his cake and eat it too by saying, oh, I'm against the increase, but I'm for the Grand Bahama Port Authority.
In that press conference yesterday, Pintard maintained that he remains committed to the people of Marco City and by extension, the people of Grand Bahama. He says he has spoken out against the Grand Bahama Port Authority as a young activist, as a member of parliament, and now as the leader of a national party. Raven?
We are now entering the peak of the hurricane season. Here why a local meteorologist says you should not let your guards down. That story, sports, and a whole lot more in the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition continues.
It has the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of. Now it's here. Commonwealth Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly approval. It's a service that just comes naturally to us, just like how love of tradition comes naturally to you. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Get ready for back to school with Bellevue Business Depot. Enjoy 20% off store-wide and enter to win a laptop, smartwatch, or gift certificate when you spend $50 or more. Drawing is on September 21st. Don't miss out. Step into comfort and style with Hush Puppies, now available in Nassau and Freeport at John West Shoe Company. Visit them in Nassau, Carmichael West behind Wendy's, or in downtown Freeport. Call 603-SHOE or 352-4574 to find your perfect pair today. Looking for something to wear this weekend? Step into the world of bad and bougie trends for stunning men and ladies outfits to must-have sneakers. Check them out at number 10 Churchill Building, Uncle P's Building and Unit.
God is Able Shoe Repair for back-to-school footwear, shoe, luggage, and belt repairs, orthopedic shoes, shoe polishing, hat spraying, custom-made shoes, and so much more. Number 6 Churchill Building, downtown Freeport.
At Harvey's Tech Bargains, West Mall Plaza, find the best deals on smart TVs, laptops, game consoles, tablets, cell phone accessories, gift cards, and so much more. Open Monday through Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
We're all still thinking about you.
5 years later. You know what my grandson said to me the other day? Grammy, can you help me? I lost my mummy. The impact of Hurricane Dorian continues to live on. The stories,
a lot of people screaming out for help,
the emotions, and the legacy of those who lost their lives.
Everything gonna be all right. Everything gonna be all right. We can keep in touch. Starting to pick up now, so.
This is me, my husband, Rob. Oh, no, this is my room right now. This is Title's Buds.
And he fell. He jumped back on the jet ski and he came back. He said, that's it. I ain't going back on no more. See what happened. He never told me what happened, but I assumed that he hit some bodies.
This amendment is for the people. I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest. Join us for this 5-day special series at 6:30 p.m. only on the ZNS Network.
#1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Exiting a calm period and entering the peak months of the hurricane season, officials from the Bahamas Department of Meteorology are advising the public to remain calm and stay ready as weather can change in the blink of an eye. Matthew Martinborough has more details in this report.
As we approach the peak period of the hurricane season, officials from the Bahamas Department of Meteorology urges the public to remain calm and be storm ready for whatever Mother Nature may have come in our way. Senior Meteorology Officer Trinard Tynes notes it has been less than active season in contrast to experts' anticipation. However, it should not be taken for granted entering the fall.
We're still below what we anticipate for the year, but we are just starting to move into our peak season now, September and October. September being the first peak, and then we have another peak again in the early part of October, so it's still a wait-and-see type of game we're playing right now.
Tynes notes one of the key factors at play during such a dull season in the summer months is the Saharan dust stemming from the African coast.
As that starts to peak out, we're expecting that to start to gradually thin out at the probably mid-September, and that range somewhere in there. But again, it's still a wait-and-see type of decision because the Saharan dust has been very active so far. So we're going to see how long that holds up. But right now, the Saharan dust is playing a major role in keeping most of these storms from developing.
The senior officer shares, in addition to the general public preparing for the hurricane season, the disaster preparedness shelters on the island are also following suit as they are ready for anything that can arise.
We've already did a few runs with our disaster preparedness department. We've been having meetings almost every month. The disaster preparedness group, especially in West Grand Bahama for sure, that I know of, because I'm a part of that group, and they are well prepared and they're ready to roll.
Although officials from the Bahamas Department of Meteorology say that we are witnessing little to no serious storm activity, they reiterate to the public to ensure that you are preparing for any storm incoming, just as you are preparing for back to school. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Matthew Martinborough.
Thanks, Matthew. About to look at stories making news. Shane, what's the latest in Northern Bahamas sports?
Well, Raven Andrew Styles competed at the World Athletics Under-20 Championship over in Lima, Peru. We've got the results on that plus more, so stick around. Sports is next after this break.
The Forever Flower Shop. Check out our new selection of artificial flowers and wreaths. Choose stems for your own projects or get a pre-made arrangement as a quick fix to a dull space. If you're a soon-to-be bride, inquire about bulk ordering for floral options that won't break the bank. It's all here at Island Bedding and Furniture, located at number 5 Queens Highway, across from Caribbean Veterinary.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I still want to put shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
And I still want to put shoes on your feet.
We still want to put shoes on your feet.
2 locations to put shoes on your feet. Downtown Freeport, and now our newest location in the Carmichael City Shopping Plaza, right behind the Walk Up Wendy's, Carmichael Road West.
Sometimes you want pizza vibe without the whole dang pie. Now, there's a new way to get the bold flavors of pizza whenever and wherever you want. You just got to try Pizza Hut's new melt in buffalo chicken, meat lovers, pepperoni lovers, and chicken bacon ranch for just $6.99 with VAT. Pizza Hut's new melts are cheesy, crispy, and loaded. Call us at 352-9191 to satisfy your pizza vibe cravings.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
It's back to school with Bellevue Gifts and Supplies. Shop now and get huge savings on composition books, 15% off textbooks, workbooks, school supplies, and all teachers' aids. There'll be gifts and supplies Queens Highway, making going back to school more affordable.
Hi, I'm Diana, here at Home Fabrics. We are located on Milton and Keach Street, where we have the largest selection of independence, fabric, and upholstery, indoor and outdoor, olefin, as well as party items. As we come into the new season now for Mother's Day, we have a large selection of Mother's Day items, teachers' appreciation, as well as graduation. We have canvases and art supplies, and the biggest selection of balloons that you will find. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are eager, willing, and ready to serve you. Our store hours are 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Monday through Saturday. We're closed on holidays and Sundays. Come and visit us here at Home Fabrics. It's Home Fabrics or nothing.
West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency branches presents the Back to School Prayer Walk and Salsa. Saturday, August 31st from 5:30 a.m. to 12 noon. It starts at 5:30 a.m. at Sunset Village Bandstand warm-up and praise session with Bishop Simeon Houghton and Fred. The route starts at Sunset Village Bandstand West onto Bayshore Road to 8 Mile Rock Front Street. Continue east to Bartlett Hill. Turn onto St. Stephen's Corner. Continue west on Bayshore Road to Sunset Village Bandstand. Saturday, August 31st from 5:30 a.m. to 12 noon.
Welcome back to Health Bites. If you're over 50 and you're trying to live to 100 plus, you need these 4 supplements. Beet powder is great for energy and endurance, great for blood flow, and it's even great for your immune system. Turmeric is great to help reduce joint pain. It helps improve brain health, and it also helps to reduce inflammation. Omega-3s also help with brain health, heart health, and they can even help to improve your cholesterol. Black seed oil helps to boost immunity, helps to lower blood pressure, blood sugar, and it helps with overall health and wellness. If you're interested in any of the products in this video, or you just want some more information, stop by your nearest Fitness Connection location or shop online at shopfitnessconnection.com.
We're all still thinking about you.
5 years later. You know what my grandson said to me the other day? Grammy, can you help me? I lost my mummy. The impact of Hurricane Dorian continues to live on. The stories,
A lot of people screaming out for help.
the emotions, and the legacy of those who lost their lives.
Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. We can keep in touch. Stuff when starting to pick up now, so.
This is my husband's room. Oh, no, this is my room right now. This is Title's buds.
Eddie fell. He jumped back on the jet ski and he came back. He said, I said, I ain't going back on no more. I said, what happened? He never told me what happened, but I assumed that he hit some bodies.
This amendment is for the people.
I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest. Join us for this 5-day special series at 6:30 p.m. only on the ZNS Network.
One news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition. Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
Well, that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of our entire news team in the North, I'm Raven Davis. We say thank you for watching. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
tonight, the National Report, the Grand Bahamas shipyard set to undergo a multi-million-dollar redevelopment expansion. Just over 200 young Bahamians hauled before the courts for firearms and ammunition charges this year alone. The nuclear health workshop winding down at the Atlantis Resort. And in sports, Jonquel Jones out of Liberty lineup last night. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for tuning in. The Grand Bahamas Shipyard has played a major role in facilitating ship repair throughout the country. In fact, it's known as the largest ship repair facility in the Caribbean. The good news tonight is that the company will undergo a multi-million-dollar redevelopment and expansion geared towards cementing Grand Bahama as a regional and transatlantic shipping hub. Raven Davis of our Northern Service leads us off tonight.
It is being hailed as a landmark achievement today. The government signing a heads-of agreement with Carnival Corporation and Royal Caribbean Group, owners of the Grand Bahama Shipyard here at the Grand Lucayan Resort. Now, this agreement further solidifying a $600 million investment to expand and revitalize the shipyard, including 2 new world-class floating docks along with facility upgrades.
The expansion of the shipyard is a part of a surge of investment for Grand Bahama.
At the groundbreaking ceremony last year, officials announced that the first of the new docks would be in service by January 1, 2026, with the second dock operational later that year. According to shipyard CEO David Scantleberry, that timeline remains on track.
The infrastructure work taking place at the yard started within days of the groundbreaking ceremony. We're on schedule to complete that infrastructure work ahead of the arrival of the docks. Our focus in the yard now is very much on ramping up for the increased business levels. The new large dock will be called the Lucayan Dock and will be registered under the Bahamian flag in Nassau. The smaller of the 2 docks will be called the East End Dock after a well-known part of our island and also registered in Nassau.
Now, the project is expected to bring billions of dollars in economic impact over the next 25 years. And Prime Minister Davis has pledged to ensure fair and just working conditions.
In 5 years, we anticipate some 1,200 employees will benefit from gainful employment at the shipyard, the majority of whom will be full-time Bahamian workers. I say full-time Bahamian workers, Linda, because my government remains attentive to the issues surrounding seasonal and casual labor.
Officials say this joint venture will position Grand Bahama as a hub for maritime and logistics.
Since its inception, the Grand Bahama Shipyard has been a cornerstone of our local economy. And this ambitious project will undoubtedly inject new life into it.
As the biggest or one of the biggest industrial projects in the Caribbean, as one of the biggest shipyards of its kind in the world with the capacity to do the lifting of the biggest ships in the world, this truly is a big, big deal for Grand Bahama.
The smaller of the 2 new docks has a lifting capacity of some 93,500 tons, while the larger dock can handle up to 130,000 tons, demonstrating a capability to service a wide range of vessels.
We've made remarkable progress. We've increased the water depth in the dry dock locations by 20 to 25 feet. The pier extension is well underway. Steel has been cut and assembly has begun for the 2 world-class floating docks.
This $600 million transformation project puts the Bahamas at the epicenter of shipping.
The Grand Bahama Shipyard Limited is 20% owned by the Port Group Limited. GBPA Director Rupert Hayward calling the event a testament to what can be achieved when stakeholders work together.
This project will create a huge positive impact for many generations of Grand Bahamians and on the Bahamas as a whole. generating significant work for local contractors, thousands of full-time jobs, and a plethora of associated opportunities.
By 2026, the Grand Bahamas Shipyard's expansion will transform it into the largest floating dock ship repair facility in the Western Hemisphere, reclaiming its status as the world's foremost cruise ship repair hub. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Raven Davis.
Getting illegal firearms off our streets is crucial to permanently dismantling criminal gangs in this country. It's a mammoth task, but one senior police official believes it can be done, and success proves it. Here's Corvell Pyfrom.
The Bahamas' archipelagic composition makes protecting its borders especially complex. And with so many islands, keys, and points of entry into our country, keeping illegal firearms from entering is next to impossible. These weapons eventually wind up on our streets and in the possession of gangs.
The increase in firearm seizures is an indication of good police detection. However, it also illustrates to us the number of firearms that are being trafficked or smuggled inside our country.
That's newly appointed director of the Royal Bahamas Police Force's Anti-Gang and Firearms Investigations Task Force, Superintendent Terrell Cox. The task force, formed in February of last year, comprises the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, the Department of Immigration, Inland Revenue, and U.S. agencies Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco, and the Department of Homeland Security. More than 330 illegal firearms have been removed from our streets for the year. Superintendent Cox hails this as a success, but says a lot more work still has to be done.
A number of young persons are placed before our court as relates to possession of firearms and ammunition. Those age range from 26 to 35 years of age. Year to date, the police force have sent some 223 persons to court for possession of firearms and ammunition.
The firearm of choice among criminals appears to be the Taurus 9mm pistol. Cox says they are cheaper to come by and often end up in the hands of young criminals.
And there are a number of reasons why a young male may want to be in possession of a firearm. Mainly to commit crime or to retaliate against other gang members, or they want it for protection or power and control.
And to those in illegal possession of a firearm, Superintendent Cox offers a few words of caution.
Police advise legal firearm holders to secure their weapons so that they will not get into the wrong hands or to avoid it or to avoid theft. Additionally, we ask family members to keep these weapons from out of the hands of children. And also I'd like to ask license holders to ensure that their weapons are licensed and up to date, because bear in mind, if you refuse to do so, those weapons will become an unlicensed firearm, which is an offense.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfrom.
A 34-year-old man and a 32-year-old woman, both natives of the Netherlands, were arrested and are now being questioned by police after being caught with dangerous drugs in their home. Officers of the Drug Enforcement and the police canine units acting on a tip executed a search warrant at a home on Coral Harbor Boulevard near Coral Harbor Road around 7 Wednesday morning. After searching the interior and exterior of the property, officers found a quantity of suspected mushrooms or magic mushrooms in several jars. Investigations into that matter continues. A 37-year-old man is providing authorities with answers to questions they have about an overnight stabbing incident. Police say the suspect was reportedly involved in an altercation with a male relative at a residence on Forge Avenue in Jones Heights around 11 o'clock last evening. It is reported that during the altercation, he produced a sharp instrument and stabbed the male relative multiple times to the upper body. While police arrested the suspect immediately after the incident, the 24-year-old victim was taken to hospital where he's listed in stable condition. And still to come, day 2 of the Beyond Weapons Workshop. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Full Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
In the chaos of our daily lives, it's easy to be caught up in the rush. But when you're behind the wheel, remember, rushing can lead to disaster. Don't rush. Take your time. Remember, your life and others depends on it. Slow down, stay alert, and arrive alive. Because in the race of life, it's not about how fast you get there, but how safely.
This message is brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
KFC is giving you more to love with our KFC Bucket Meals with large sides. Get the KFC Family Bucket featuring 8 pieces of juicy chicken, family fries, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4. A KFC Deluxe Bucket with 10 pieces of delicious chicken, 2 larger sides, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4 to 6. Or a KFC Party Bucket with 15 pieces of our chicken, 3 larger sides, and 6 biscuits that feeds 6. And we'll handle the dishes, plates, and utensils included, so you can lick your fingers in peace. KFC knows value, and it's finger-licking good.
We need people who are willing to step up and take action, need people willing to fight for what is good and what is right.
We are on the verge of the most profound industrial revolution in human history. I've had the privilege of seeing the future, and I'm here to tell you that it's not just going to be okay, it's going to be amazing.
I've made a decision to remain committed to doing all I can to help elevate you.
Get ready for OWN Talks 2024. All new speakers, all new insight, and an all-new chance to submit an application and win one of the grants given away by OWN Bahamas to jumpstart your business endeavors.
Your professional success is going to become about how well we can imagine a future that we want to live in and the courage to build for it.
Mediocre minds are the greatest enemies to innovation and change.
There's nothing we can't do.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Gregory Stewart says he's known the value of farming since he was a young boy. Growing up, he says he learned firsthand how rewarding and vital it can be.
During the summers after school, my dad, when I was on the boat, he had to actually buy a boat. He grows so much vegetables and fruits, he had to buy his own vessel to bring fruits on the trade into Nassau. And it was like, people just flocked. You know, a young boy like that on the dock sometime around 12 o'clock or so, you sell the pineapples, the watermelon, whatever, and your pockets are full of money. So in your head, it was saying, well, this is a lucrative thing to be in.
Years down the road, he turned that passion into D&T Farm, named after his 2 beloved daughters. His farm now thrives specializing in a variety of tropical fruits, including coconuts, a crop he firmly believes is a smart investment for anyone looking to make a solid living.
It's an investment that you're looking at maybe about 4 or 5 years before you can actually see the results of it, but they're almost hurricane tolerant. So once you put them in the ground, they're just there. You clean them maybe once or twice a year, and they just grow in value.
Stewart's advice for aspiring farmers is simple but powerful. Farming isn't just a job, it's a pathway to sustainable success and community growth. He encourages young Bahamians to tap into the rich potential that farming offers. With hard work and dedication, he says it's a career that can provide not only a good income, but also a lasting impact on the nation's future.
I would advise him, like my dad told me, never waste a seed, because even a landscaper like me or a farm grower of ornamentals, if you came to me and you showed me where you had 500 seed-bait trees, maybe in 1-gallon pot, I would definitely buy them from you. I'd make an offer to you. I would encourage young people to really don't look at it as hard work, look at it as building a future.
So if you're thinking about your next steps, why not consider a future in farming? You'll be investing not only in yourself, but in the Bahamas. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be extra.
What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you is?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. And it's a 25 cents no more.
We here at Candid Security offer a varied range of security services, including guard service. We do armored service, we do pre-employment investigation, background checks, also vet people for employment. A live business hosted PBX is extremely important to our operation. I don't have to be in my office. I can easily get connected with our clients, my vendors, my NASA office, and with our employees in the field, anytime, anywhere.
If you're looking for a show that inspires, encourages, and lifts up the soul, then Rhythm of Faith is the show for you. Artist of the Week showcase, persons that gives you the story behind the song. Catch Rhythm of Faith, Sundays, 6 p.m., ZNS Television Network.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
On day 2 of a 3-day workshop promoting the safe use of nuclear and chemical material, Bahamian officials partnering with International Atomic Energy Agency officials gleaning information on the hazardous materials used every day. Here in the Bahamas, Acting Director of the Department of Environmental Health Services, Lana Williams, maintains work will begin in earnest when the Bahamas signs on to these treaties, although legislation is still in draft form.
We have commenced our inventory for all radioactive sources that are within country. That will include radioactive sources, that will also include radiation, which means that agencies such as your medical facilities, your breweries, your construction industries, even academia, those persons who utilize these types of sources, we will become, if selected by Parliament, we will be the regulators for those materials.
Deputy Permanent Secretary Tim Munnings was asked about the Ministry of Health and Wellness's role in this workshop.
We import a lot of this machinery and equipment, and we want to make sure that there are safeguards in place so that you don't have some rogue person extracting any nuclear chemicals or anything that's involved in our nuclear equipment for any nefarious reasons. So we're here to learn about how to safeguard the equipment, how to safeguard the environment, and just make the country safer.
Government travel is proving to reap dividends as evidenced by this week's Nuclear and Chemical Science Workshop. That's according to the country's Ambassador at Large and Foreign Liaison for Environmental and Educational Matters, the Honorable His Excellency Ron Pinder.
Funded by the United States of America, and it came about as a result of foreign travel. And I want to say to you that this event, to put on this event, and to bring together the cadre of experts that you will see, hear from, and interact with was not cheap. This is an expensive undertaking to bring together all of these experts from around the world to help us to become compliant with the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and the Chemical Weapons Convention.
In an effort to build the next generation of men, the Ministry of Youth celebrated a cohort of teens who finished the It Ain't Worth It program created by the Division of Youth. Devontae Hanna has a charge given to those passing through the 6-month course and the responses of those that participated.
It's got to make your mind up whether you're a thermometer or a thermostat.
That's the charge from Youth, Sports and Culture Minister, the Honorable Mario Bola, given to at-risk young men who on Wednesday completed the It Ain't Worth It program hosted by the Division of Youth. Set on the mantra, it takes a village, the program was designed to reach young men at their level, taking them through a short interactive course with the end goal of impacting their lives with the hopes that they could make a turn for the better. 20 young men received certificates like senior high school student Shaquan Parker and Josh Turnquest.
It monitors our
helped me learn a source of fellowship and unity, and it also would help us with growing both in our mind and also in ourselves.
Going back to BTVI to start afternoon classes, so I think that's a great start for me.
But what exactly should these young men choose, according to the minister?
A thermometer adapts to environment. When you go to the hospital and they put that thermometer in your mouth to check your temperature for whether you got the fever or whatever, a thermostat controls its environment.
With this in mind, founders of the program, once inner-city children Dion McPhee and Wilmot Noel, challenged students not to become products of their environment, but to change it.
We would have seen the downward trend of young men in that particular community going in a downward spiral. So it inspired us to set the change and set the mode in these young men.
We don't do this event every 6 months. We're actually in their lives every single day. You know, we attend their high school as well, but we understand that the time and effort it takes to be in in the lives of each and every young man.
The pair now planning to start an in-school program with the same young man at R.M. Bailey, which student Jaquan is happy to hear.
It can motivate and help others to strive for goals and whatever they put their mind to.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Devontae Hanna.
Payne and Grantstown residents getting the opportunity to learn how the law can work for them. A legal aid clinic is underway at Woodcock Primary School, and that's where Desmond Saunders joins us live with this preview. Good evening, Desmond.
Well, a pleasant good evening is Don, and a pleasant evening, Bahamas. I'm coming to you live from the Woodcock Primary School, where top legal minds in the country assembling here at the Woodcock Primary School. The classroom is being filled to capacity as I speak, where top legal minds offering a free legal aid clinic dealing with all pertinent issues relative to law in the country. And I have joining me on the broadcast a member of Parliament for the Bain and Grantstown community, Mr. Wade Watson. Talk about the inspiration for this free legal aid clinic being offered to residents in your constituency and the impact you hope this free legal aid clinic would have.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon, Bahamas. Again, we're here today because we have the expungement clinic, the Bernard Nordage expungement program, which he implemented some time ago as the Minister of National Security. The inspiration behind this is, as a member of Parliament, I realized that a number of our young men are being challenged with gaining employment within blue and white collar Bahamas by virtue of the fact that some time ago they may have committed a crime. Many years ago they may have committed a crime, and it's on their criminal records. So what we're doing today is an expungement clinic, the Bernard J. Nordage expungement program. So we're doing a workshop today in that regard, and we're also doing a free affidavit service that we're going to provide to the constituents, not only young men but young women as well. So we want to be able to provide that to constituents here today. We have the Minister of National Security, Casey, Minister Wayne Monroe, and we also have Mr. Keith Seymour. He's also a formidable attorney here in the Bahamas, and we have Reverend Dr. Samuel Pinder, JP, who's going to be performing our services. So I just want to, say to the residents of Baines and Grantstown that, I understand their pain, and it is our responsibility, my responsibility, to facilitate as best as possible with meaningful programs here in our constituency.
And this is an outreach organized by you, sir, and your branch association. You've been doing an incredible job over the last few months in terms of unifying your constituents and helping your residents. So this is what's happening here. Free legal aid clinic here at the Bain and Grantstown Community Woodcock Primary School live over the ZNS Network. LaDon, back to you in the studio.
Thanks a lot, Desmond. We still have more news to come, but Marcellus Hall has a look at what's coming up in sports. Marcellus?
Coming up in sports tonight, action continues in Lima, Peru as the Junior World Championships roll right along. Details ahead in sports.
If you see news in the making, call ZNS News at 502-3800 or email us at znsnews@gmail.com.
A decade ago, the Bahamas Striping Group of companies was birthed out of a passion to change the way we travel. From only a $5,000 grant, the tenacity and work ethic has propelled BSGC to one of the leading road management companies in the Caribbean. We pride ourselves on going the extra mile where others won't, through the use of our state-of-the-art equipment and our certified team. Although the success is commendable, the road has been long. Yet, the mission continues in striving to be a world-class organization ran by Bahamians for Bahamians. With the help of our experienced and hardworking team, we at the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies are committed to making a difference, one road at a time.
Hundreds of public school administrators gathered at Life Changers Ministries International recently for the annual Public School Administrators Conclave under the theme, Navigating the Future, Charting the Course for Educational Excellence.
Well, we want to build education, but in order to build education, we're going to need better administrators, better teachers, better students, and we do that by equipping with skills. And so this year is focused on skills.
Some administrators shared their thoughts heading into the conclave.
You've seen that this is my second year at one of these esteemed conclaves. I'm looking to further polish my skills as a leader and to further bring these tools back into the school where I'm posted at, and so we can have better collaboration, better teamwork, better a working spirit amongst my peers. I'm hoping to lead my peers in the direction that we should go while sticking to policies and best practices to enhance the overall objective of the Ministry of Education.
Well, every year it is indeed a conclave of excellence. Every year there is information that everyone can go back and immediately get started with, immediately use for whatever their role is. And this year, again, it's the same thing, but they have something for DEOs, principals, vice principals, senior masters, senior ministers, and the list goes on and on and on. And so everyone can leave from this conference this year with a whole lot of ammunition that they can use as they go back to start the 2024-2025 school year.
Approximately 400 administrators participated in the two-day conclave in preparation for the reopening of schools. Jonalee McIntosh for Ed Talk.
Get ready for the 20th Abaco Business Outlook, September 19th at the stunning Abaco Beach Resort for a full day of insightful discussions under the theme, Future Abaco, Branding the National Identity, Planning for Success. Hear from our keynote speaker, the Honorable Clay Sweeting. Don't miss our interactive panels on infrastructure, hospitality management, and airlift development. Secure your spot today at tclevents.com or call us at 322-1000.
During the calm before the storm.
Life-threatening storm surge and winds in the northwestern Bahamas.
2019, Freeport Grand Bahama. We're praying for the best.
And in the wake of the devastation. We've hosted countless shows. We've interviewed numerous individuals. We've covered every angle and shared everyone's stories.
The whole roof came off.
Now, 5 years after Hurricane Dorian, we are telling our story.
We need to move now. Let's go now.
You can see we make it out of the hurricane.
I wasn't imagining this.
I was scared. I didn't know if I was scared or coming crying.
This was a storm like no other.
Join us for a Hurricane Dorian special as we take you into the eye of the newsroom. See what we endured behind the scenes during our relentless 72-hour live coverage from before and after the deadliest storm in our nation's history.
Outside is actually flooded.
This is more than a documentary. It's our journey, a testament to our dedication and our commitment to you. Airing September 1st on the only station that kept you informed during the worst storm in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. This is the Eye of the Newsroom.
Education officials also expanding a school resource officer program this new school year. The initiative was designed to improve safety on public school campuses. But Director of Education Dominique McCartney-Russell says it will provide an extra layer of support to students.
We would have also put more SROs into our schools. That program is going so well. And they're not just there to provide support in terms of protection. They're providing preventative programs, mentoring programs. You know, they're assisting students who are at risk for failure. We've seen a decrease in violence in our schools. The report is that it's gone down by a good percent. I can't recall offhand, but the violence has decreased in New Providence.
The Director of Education also noting that increased academic support will be provided for those students who need it.
We've been advised that we have a number of students who are now on the spectrum. Autism has increased and being advised, and so we want to assess those students so that we could give them the supports that they need, and that should be done by the end of September.
The Education Minister making it easier for parents to track their child's progress this new school year. The ministry has developed a parents portal that will give parents online access to vital information pertaining to their child. Deputy Director of Education Charmaine Sinclair says the technology will help parents deepen their support for their children.
Before, the students were able to access our system, our administrators and teachers, but now the parents, so that they are able to support their children in the monitoring of their grades, in monitoring of their attendance at school, even to communicate with the teacher, with the administrator of the school. This is all done virtually.
She says help will also be available for parents who may have challenges navigating online.
We have a parent engagement unit. That unit is charged with helping parents to gain some skills with the use of computers, with the use of devices. It also helps them to gain some understanding of what the curriculum is about in the school, how they can give better support to their children, what to look for in terms of the assignments that are being given, what to look for even in terms of, at this particular time, we will have a progress report. At this particular time, you should expect a note to come home about conferences that the school may be having for parent-teacher conferences.
The protection and empowerment of vulnerable children in the country will be the focus of a panel discussion tomorrow at the Fox Hill Community Center, hosted by the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Forum chairperson Deborah Nemore says the aim of the forum, which is called SOAR for Children, is to raise awareness among stakeholders to the signs of abuse and neglect in children.
The acronym for SOAR is Safeguard, Open Communication, Advocate, and Report. We noticed that there has been a recent trend of an increase with child abuse and neglect within the countries. And we want to really advocate for the children because they don't have voices. And we need the community to garner after this. And so if you see, and it's really open to persons in the community, but particularly teachers, guidance counselors, anyone who interacts with children. Because, you know, at home, the children may not be able to speak freely, they may not be comfortable. But if when they go to school, they may find that person who may have an open ear or who may get them that attention and that they may want to open up.
Persons who can attend the 7 p.m. forum at the Fox Hill Community Center tomorrow will be able to watch it live on Facebook. Vice President of Island Jewels, Michelle Robinson, noted that child protection and safety is everyone's business.
We have a number of experts in the area, ranging from educators, Zoe Powell, who is a former guidance counselor. We have Mavis Johnston-Cawley, who is an attorney at law. we have ASP Mikkel Pender, who is also very knowledgeable, because that is what she does. That is the role for her now. We also have Dr. Janet Davis Dorset, who is a pediatrician, and she has expert knowledge as well to help to know what the signs are to look for in a child who is being abused or neglected.
Stay close, there's more news right after this. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report.
This is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready, simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars in Oakesville, Carmichael, East Street South, and the Charles Sanders Highway. See Little Caesars BS on Facebook and Little Caesars Bahamas on Instagram for more info.
Pizza.
Carrie's Fabric and Uniform Store wants to get you ready for back to school.
They have ready-made uniforms and uniform fabrics for almost every school in the Bahamas.
At Carrie's, find skirts, blouses, shirts, jumpers, boy shorts and long pants, neckties, socks, and
You
more.
can even have your uniform skirts custom made.
Check out our selection of embroidered cotton shirts.
That's Carrie's Fabric and Uniform Store on Mackey Street.
Call us at 393-0758 or 817-0758.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
Why pay more when you can pay less? Shop the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Kraft macaroni and cheese, 7 1/4 ounce, 2 for $2. Distinction Long Life Milk, assorted 1 liter, $2.29. Old Carolina bacon, 12 ounce, $4.49. Sweet bananas, 89 cents per pound. Beef short ribs, $2.99 per pound. Rescuing you from high prices. That's Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
What are we gonna do? We forgot your daddy's birthday. He's in Eleuthera and we're all the way in Nassau. You got it? Okay. Yes, you're right.
Eleuthera for tomorrow? No problem.
I don't know, but there's all kind of cars in this parking lot, but you ain't even know where to park. Okay, just don't park in the, look at this way. Like you ain't get nowhere to go. Don't park him, just don't park in the handicap spot.
Yeah, that's handicap.
No, man, you can't park in the handicap spot. I ain't gonna be that long. Handicap spot, let's do it. Boy, what's going on, dog? Man, I tell you we shouldn't park here now, this way park here,
I tell you we shouldn't park here.
Don't get one of these things. My bad big bro, and he got a sticker inside this ain't this mud though. We gotta move, this is a handicap spot. But we gotta move, we can move right now, sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
More than 12 hours without sufficient water supply and having to fill and collect gallon bottles of water from wells and WSC's distribution centers to keep sanitized and cool during scorching hot temperatures, residents in Rock Sound and Tarpon Bay, Eleuthera now have running water. Area manager for Eleuthera, Carl Anderson, telling ZNS News that residents experienced water issues from late Tuesday evening into Wednesday. And this morning, a new generator was procured, tested, and the production of water supply began in the area.
We were having challenges with the RO staying up from about last week Thursday due to the bad power from BPL. However, I mean, our storage levels were high enough to allow us to continue distribution. But on Sunday, we lost our row altogether. The trains wouldn't stay on due to the unsafe power levels. We engaged PPL, and they came out and realized that they had some irregular power on their side. And they advised us that someone would be coming in to assist with the fix.
And it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil. More rain in the forecast this week?
More rain is in the forecast. We have that upper level troughing over the northwest Bahamas. That will keep the rain in place right through the weekend, and we continue to monitor the tropics, where there's a lone area that we anticipate will develop in the next couple of days, giving it a 40% chance. The details all coming up later in the newscast. But right now, we have partly cloudy skies, temperature at 85 degrees, a relative humidity 72%, easterly winds at 12 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,017.7 millibars. That's 30.05 inches. And your temperatures around the islands this evening, we have 83 degrees in Marsh, Abaco, Greentoll, Key Abaco at 84, Freeport, Grand Bahama 84 degrees, Berry Islands. They have a temperature of 84, Alistown, Bimini 86. In Harbor Island, 85 degrees. Rock, Sunny, Lutra 83. Fresh Creek in Central Andros at 85. And those 85s extends into Kemp Bay, South Andros, and Black Point, Exuma, Alistown, Cat Island, San Salvador, Rum Key, and Georgetown, Exuma, all at 84 degrees. 84s again in Ragged Island, Clarence, Sound Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Meguana, 83 degrees. Ackland's 88. Matthew Town, Unagua, 85. And the Turks and Caicos Islands also at 85 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Alive Business, where you're always protected during the worst storms. In the northwestern islands tonight through Saturday, those winds are going to be easterly at 10 to 15 knots. The wave height is 2 to 4 feet. The low tide will occur at 3 minutes past midnight, with your high tide at 5:51 tomorrow morning. In the central and southeastern islands through Saturday, easterly winds 12 to 18 knots. The wave height is 3 to 6 feet with a body shop. So caution flags will remain in place for the central and southeastern islands right into Saturday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Hey, 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 Bahama Rock. Hey, 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 Bahama Rock. Everybody's out there on the dock. They're doing what we call Bahama Rock. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, yeah, Bahama Rock. Early in the morning till late at night, everybody's happy, no one's uptight. Early in the morning till late at night, everybody's happy, no one's uptight. Rock from sun to sun, and then we give the drummer some.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. The extended weather forecast is still ahead.
In case you missed the news or want to stay ahead, follow us at ZNS Digital on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or X. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit us on our website at znsbahamas.com.
Here at Solomon's, we don't just believe in great brands. We believe in creating unforgettable memories and celebrating everyday living with you and your family. Every aisle is filled with all you need. A great value with variety and a selection of all your favorite groceries and products. Saving you time and keeping you on a budget. Great food changes everything. Shop at your local Solomon's for food, for family, for you.
Got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Rent-A-Kill Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rent-A-Kill Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rent-A-Kill Initial.
Hardware is the helpful place. Everything you need under one roof, from electrical, paint, plumbing, outdoor, barbecue, automotive, lawn and garden, pet supply, houseware, and seasons. Hurricane season is now here, so for all your hurricane needs, we have a 25% off bargain zone.
Hey, thanks. I would have given more stuff, but I didn't bring my money. I thought this was a club, and I thought everything was free. Finally know what it is now.
Ace. We're located on St. Albans Drive, West Bay Street. Open Monday to Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and closed for lunch 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
The most important thing in life is family. And whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
That's the bear of the Bahamas. I like to go down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Started with our adoption by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
We figured that we could use the First Bahamas branch of Toastmasters Club 1600, an all-male club that specializes and focuses on developing young men for leadership through communication.
This program has grown and has impacted our school in such a positive way that I don't think we'll ever have them leave us.
Too often, instead of us looking within, we look outside for someone to blame. Go take a look in the mirror. Instead of trying to identify what the problems are, let's try and figure out how we become a part of the solution.
We are teaching these children how to dream beyond their community.
Crime-free looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Today, day 3 of competition at the Under-20 Junior World Track and Field Championships in Lima, Peru. Team Bahamas with more athletes in action this afternoon. Once again, Jay Philippe keeping us all caught up on the performances.
Team Bahamas kicked off competition in Peru in the hurdles. Taj Brown competed in the boys 110 hurdles, where he finished 5th in a time of 14.28 seconds.
Feel that I get to fix some things, you know. Get around faster, get around better, but next time. I thought about my start too much, and I added an extra step, so yeah.
Tayshawn Robinson also competed in the 110 hurdles, running out of lane 8. In heat 5, finished 8th in 14.69 seconds, which did not advance him to the next round.
Execution, I didn't think it was there the way it needed to be. My start was decent. I think it was after hurdle 2. I got hit, but I stumbled, so tried to recover the best I could, but it didn't happen the way I wanted it to. But God gave me the opportunity to be here, so I know that I made it for the big stage.
In the girls' 200 meters, Alexis Roberts finished 6th in her heat in 24.82, missing out on advancing.
The goal was just to do the best that I could. I wanted to get a good start and come home, even in this very cold weather. Just, you have to be cautious. I'm not trying to pull anything, so it was kind of scary going into the race. But I did the best that I could have done, even though it wasn't a PB. It was nice being able to compete with athletes from around the world. So glad that I get to experience this.
Over in the boys' 200 meters, Grand Bahamian Andrew Styles finished 4th with a time of 21.72 seconds.
I feel like I executed a bit better. Probably drive more on the start. I really wasn't in the mix with the other competitors. It was empty lanes, 2 empty lanes in front of me.
But, you know, the curve was tight, but I just went out there, giving my best.
Carlos Brown also ran the boys 200 meters where he placed second in his heat, running 21.31 seconds, advancing him to the semi-finals.
I feel really good about it. I just wanted to go there, get up the curve, drop my shoulders, and hopefully I make it to the next round, and I did.
Reporting from Lima, Peru at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships, I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Total Sports.
Double medalist at the recently held Masters World Track and Field Championships in Sweden, Tim Munnings taking an opportunity on Wednesday to encourage young athletes, in particular those from the Family Islands.
A lot of our top athletes come from the Family Islands, so it shows that we don't have to have all the fancy equipment and technology to succeed. You just have to have the heart, the guts, the determination to succeed. Chris Brown from Wims's Bite, Eleuthera, Troy McIntosh, Sabathy Defiance, all of these persons came from the Family Islands. Grand Bahamas has a proliferation of our top athletes. But you must work hard, and for the coaches, you know, just keep pushing them, keep encouraging them, and the success will come.
And the New Providence Softball Association playoffs set to continue tonight. 2 games on the schedule, both game 2s in the best-of-5 first-round series. On the ladies' side, R&B Operators, they'll square off against the Black Scorpions at 7. Operators leading that series 1-0. On the men's side, the contest there will be Cybertech Blue Marlins, also up 1-0. They take on the Titans. That game starts at 8:30. Over to Major League Baseball, where Bahamian Jazz Chisholm continues to fit in quite nicely with the New York Yankees. Chisholm connecting on his 22nd home run on the season, a solo shot in the second inning. He finished 2 for 3 on the night with a run-scored RBI, and he also stole his 28th base on the season. However, New York Yankees, they lose to the Washington Nationals 5-2. They're off today, traveling to St. Louis to begin a weekend series there, which starts on Friday. And speaking of New York, Jonquel Jones and the New York Liberty in action last night. Jones not in the lineup, listed as out with a non-COVID illness. Liberty did lose this one to the LA Sparks, 94-88. New York not scheduled to play again until tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have an update on their status before that time. And that's your check on sports for you here on this Thursday. Our Thursday weather just ahead. Stay with us.
From June 1st to November 30th, the ZNS Radio and Television Network is the #1 source in the Bahamas for hurricane information before, during, and after a storm. Now is the time to choose your radio and television hurricane season ad packages. Get extra special rates and run the ads only when you want them to run. Call the ZNS sales office today at 502-3800.
We have more than anyone else. We are the most. We are news leaders, and credibility is the order of the day.
Why don't you come to the most? Only the Sun can cover you better than our new digital product with exclusive stories and entertaining content.
We are the most. Community TV page and radio community announcements. The most viewers and listeners in the country.
We have the most years of Bahamian history recorded. There's no archive like ours.
I came back home to bring you even more news and local programming. We're simply the most, the new ZNS.
Hey everyone, it's your boy Vontae, and welcome back to another episode of The Drop.
2 minutes to airtime. I came back home to make sure you have the most in news and entertainment. We're simply the most.
And I came back home to make sure that you have the most in information, education, entertainment, and inspiration. We're simply the most. The new ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
104.5 FM, the national voice, is on the move this Sunday. Join us, Church of God, Joe Farrington Road, for the service of installation for the Reverend Andrea Smith and Bishop Dr. Joseph A. Smith as Administrative Bishop of the Church of God, Bahamas. Save the date, September 1st at 4 p.m. at the William Johnson Auditorium on Joe Farrington Road. Live on the National Voice, 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, and ZNS TV.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we'll get you started in the tropics, and we continue to monitor the central Atlantic, where we anticipate some development will take place over the next several days. Nothing has happened as yet, but within the 7-day frame window, we anticipate that something will happen, and we're giving that about a 40% chance of development, and that will continue moving towards the west, approaching the Lesser Antilles. And our satellite picture, well, we still have that persistent mid to upper level trough, and all the computer models suggesting that will remain in place right through the weekend. So we will continue to have cloudy conditions with occasional showers and thunderstorms over the northwest Bahamas. And for the capital, mostly cloudy tonight with a couple of thunderstorms still in the mix. The low temperature tonight should get down to about 79 degrees. And tomorrow we're looking at cloudy conditions again. Thunderstorms, they will be in spots, meaning they will be widely separated with a high temperature of 87 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, the gray skies, as you can see, right through Sunday with isolated showers and thunderstorms in the mix, but things will clear up as we head into the early part of next week, and we'll keep those temperatures in check, meaning below the 90-degree mark through the weekend, but then we'll get back into those 90s the early part of next week, and temperatures will continue to climb. Nighttime temperatures not too bad for the next couple of nights, but we'll start to get back in those muggy conditions as of Monday of next week. And just before I signed off, my grandson, Jamal Carter, celebrates his birthday today. I'll be joining them later on to continue the celebration. LaDawn?
Thanks a lot, Basil. Wendy's helped Bahamians beat the heat this summer with their upgrade and win $20,000 giveaway. Customers at any Wendy's location in New Providence or over in Grand Bahama have a chance to win one of many prizes totaling over $20,000. Marketing Director at Wendy's Bahamas, Anne-Marie Wilmore, tells us how this promotion started.
So for us with Wendy's and also with Coca-Cola, we have shared values and beliefs of creating joy and opportunity. And with that, what better way to create joy and opportunity than to have a fun and exciting contest for our customers. And for us, it's a great way to give back to our customers who have been so devoted and dedicated to our brand. So for us, this is a big, big, big thank you.
Wendy's partnered with Coca-Cola to promote and launch this giveaway. The Caribbean Bottling Company offered winners drinks and samplers of new flavors that they will soon be rolling out to the public. Wendy's brand representative Jade Shallow spoke more on what the process entails.
In order for them to win, they obviously had to upgrade their combos, any of our premium combos from 1 to 11 to a medium or large. And once they upgraded, they would have the opportunity to scan the QR code that was on the receipt, fill out the information, and they can enter online.
Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. The national report from all of us here at ZNS. I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great evening, everyone.
If you're looking for a show that inspires, encourages, and lifts up the soul, then Rhythm of Faith is the show for you. Artist of the Week showcase, persons that gives you the story behind the song. Catch Rhythm of Faith, Sundays, 6 p.m., ZNS Television Network.
104.5 FM, the national voice, is on the move this Sunday. Join us, Church of God, Joe Farrington Road, for the service of installation for the Reverend Andrea Smith and Bishop Dr. Joseph A. Smith as Administrative Bishop of the Church of God, Bahamas. Save the date, September 1st at 4 p.m. at the William Johnson Auditorium on Joe Farrington Road. Live on the National Voice, 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, and ZNS TV.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
It's time for Focus Forward, sponsored by Invest Grand Bahama. It's Grand Bahama's best talk show, highlighting all of the positive things happening in Freeport.
Look forward to our special guests each week that will tell you about events, activities, and initiatives that are making a remarkable impact on our community.
You'll also hear from local business owners and get a heads up on deals and special promotions. It's time to Focus Forward.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Grand Bahama's Best Talk Show, Focus Forward. We are so delighted to be here with you today. My name is Glendia Sweeting, Manager of Quality Assurance and Special Projects at the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and I am joined by Alex Thompson. I bet she's leaning in. I could feel her leaning in, wanting to know what am I going to call her today, because she's different each and every day, believe it or not. Alex Thompson, she is the Director of Public Relations at the Downtown Freeport Business Association in downtown Freeport. She's Miss Downtown today. Are you Miss Downtown?
I am Miss Downtown every day. Every day. Did you forget to mention we are the best association in Grand Bahama?
Okay, I mean, let's be fair to all of the others. I believe that's a little subjective, but it's okay. It's okay.
I can do that, though.
Yes, you can.
I can do that.
She is entitled to do that.
I am. I'm entitled to that. That's the hat I'm wearing today and every day.
Yes.
Downtown.
Downtown.
Okay.
All right. But we're going to be talking about
relations.
some serious business that also involves downtown, the city of Freeport, and with all of our guests today, the island of Grand Bahama. And so we're very delighted to bring to you our hurricane preparedness show as we are beginning to enter the season in just a few short days. And we want to ensure that we have a lot of key partners around the table to be able to share with you some of the work that they've been doing to ensure that our city and our island is prepared. So this particular show is one that is always very informative.
That's the plan, to be informative, to make our listeners and our viewers aware of what they should also be aware of leading into the hurricane season and be proactive.
Absolutely, absolutely. So a lot of good key information coming out today. We want to thank our sponsors, Invest Grand Bahama, of course, that allows us to be here each and every time, Grand Bahama Port Authority, Creative Eyes Studio, and Visible Changes. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so very much. And of course, we invite you to continue to watch and listen on the Invest Grand Bahama Facebook page, Grand Bahama Port Authority page, and of course, you can watch us on ZNS, Our TV, ILTV, Dove, and the Rhythm.
Okay, so we're
Can listen
everywhere. Can I just plug that I really appreciate the Invest Grand Bahama Small Business Bureau for sponsoring us and the Grand Bahama Port Authority as I shamelessly tried to get our show extended for more than an hour.
Okay, so I was waiting on, what was going to happen just now, because you've never done that before, but we do appreciate them. And of course, an hour is a whole lot, Alex.
It goes by so fast.
It does.
After the show, everyone's stopping me on the side of the street. Oh, can we hear more about this? Can you bring this person back on the show?
So tell them tune in next time.
Okay.
And tune in again.
And again.
Yes. And
watch
again.
the replay.
And again.
Listen to it on the radio.
Yes.
And go on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, then. So there we have it. Even though I really love the Invest Grand Bahama Small Business Bureau for their sponsorship of Focus Forward every week for the Grand Bahama community and the nation at large.
Right. Thank you, Alex. So if we can just get on into our segment, we want to start talking about hurricane preparedness, hurricane readiness, and to ensure that if you guys are watching, this is the time for you to take your notes. Start to put down some things that you might need to know, maybe some contact numbers they may share, email addresses, websites, anything where you can go to get additional information throughout the season. And so it is my pleasure to welcome back to the show We have this guy every time we talk about city management, building and development services and things that are happening around the city. The Deputy Director of Building and Development Services and the City Manager, Mr. Troy McIntosh. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Freeport. Good morning, Bahamas.
So we're talking about hurricane. I won't put a lot of pressure on you otherwise today.
You put pressure on everybody. But today is one of those shows where we really got to get all of it out. And we also want to welcome back to the show again. This lady was with us at Lucaya Solar Power, live on location several weeks ago when that commissioning would have happened. So we're very pleased to have on our hurricane preparedness show Mrs. Nikita Mullings, who is the Chief Operating Officer at the Grand Bahama Power Company. Welcome again.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good to have you. Good to have you.
Yeah.
Got questions.
I've got answers.
Let's hope so. You got about have broad shoulders to deal with me this morning.
And also, we want to welcome for the very first time to the Focus Forward Roundtable the Chief, the Manager of Operations for the Grand Bahama Utility Company, Mr. Leon Cooper. Welcome to Focus Forward.
Good morning, Grand Bahama. Thanks for having me.
Good. It's wonderful to have you. So let's get into the discussion, guys. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening here within the city of Freeport and how all of these organizations are now preparing to ensure that we can get through this particular season with your services intact as much as possible. And so if we can start, Mr. McIntosh, with you and city management.
Yes.
Obviously, your role is very broad and wide in terms of the things that needs to happen, but give us a brief overview of your responsibility and tell us a little bit about what you've been doing.
Yes, and so one of the first thing I want to mention to residents on the Grand Bahama Island, or particularly in the Freeport area. If for the first time you're hearing about this, we are disappointed, but nevertheless, there's still an opportunity for you to download the Freeport Report app. If you've never heard of it, if you don't have it, please download that app, because we're going to use that to push a lot of information to you, pre-storm as well as during the storm. And so the responsibility that I have pre-storm as well as during the storm is to ensure that first and foremost the roads are cleared through our service provider, and to ensure that all of our first responders from the building development side and our main key points, the airport, the hospital, the harbor, are in good standings, at least get back to a sense of recovery. And so we have teams that are responsible for key areas, subdivisions, and pairs. We also have new apps that we've used. Past experience would allow us to collaborate with the power company, where we have their distribution system to ensure that it's overlaid, and we can, after inspection, we can respond quickly, and they can respond quickly to ensure that power restorations to the various customers are done efficiently and in a seamless manner from our perspective, and as well as from theirs. We look at regular maintenance during the year and during regular period for the island and for the city per se, to make sure they're in order. But we want to encourage persons who have not yet prepared, not to wait for a system or an alert, but to begin to prepare their environments to make sure it's safe moving forward.
So when we, for example, go through a storm, when is it that your team comes into play with all of this work?
So once we get the all clear from NEMA and it's safe for the regular inspection team to go out, we then basically contact those team members and get them out as quickly as possible to assess and to do an assessment of every single infrastructure within the city of our responsibility. And that information, in some cases, depending on Wi-Fi, it's uploaded while they're in the field. So there's no downtime. So we have a team back in our command center receiving that data to be able to quickly as possible send it to the power company or the relevant utility provider.
So it is really important.
More for him when you finish that.
No problem. I just wanted to touch on something because when after you go through a storm, everybody wants to get out on the road. They want to go, they want to see, they want to drive. So that's not necessarily the best thing to do because there's a significant amount of work that needs to happen with these teams, all of these teams, in order for persons to be able to safely traverse and move around, that sort of thing.
Yes, absolutely. So we are advising persons, and I'm sure Nikita will mention it as well. We have Bahamians want to be, curious in that time. That's not the time to be curious. But to allow the first responders to do their jobs, to make sure the way is clear and that all utility providers or responders can get out and make the way clear and safe for other service providers to come out and, start restorations if that's the case.
So basically stay in until the all clear is given.
Stay in until some form of communication from NAME was given that is safe for the public to begin to traverse out on the streets, meaning onlookers. Yes.
All right, so I have two questions I wanted to ask you specifically. You talked about the Freeport Report app. I guess people would want to know what exactly can they report on that app?
Anything.
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 Be specific.
So, for example, during a hurricane, if there's downed trees, if there's down power lines, if there's water interruption, the system is then transformed for you to be able to do that.
Okay, so absolutely anything.
Anything. And we're looking at all areas, not just Freeport proper, but all areas.
I think that's
within
important
the Port Authority.
I asked you that question because I want the listeners and the viewers to understand that it doesn't matter what it is, where it is. If you see something, report it.
If you see something, say something.
See something, say something, because you can't address it and you can't be everywhere with your team. The next question I have, make sure, I was listening to your list of key areas, right? I didn't quite hear downtown, but I had to make sure you have it on that list. But I have a question. What are you doing now to, I wrote this down for me, to mitigate any flooding and protect critical infrastructure if a system was to happen this year?
Yeah, so the key thing with that is to remember all of our drainage system have a capacity, okay? So a drain holds 1,600 gallons of water. If you do have a system where it occurs during high tide or there's unusual high tide, it's raining particularly, those drains will have a capacity. The key is once the rain stops, within 24 to 48 hours, that water should not be in that location. If it is, then there's a problem. That is what we need to be notified of. And once you tell us, we'll make an assessment of that and then carry out whatever maintenance work is needed thereafter once we're able to.
So if we're talking about drains, sorry, Alex, because there's so much, this needs to be a 2-hour show today. But if we're talking about drains, right, there are some drains that fall on private property.
Yes. Right.
How does that work? Is the Port Authority responsible for the drainage on private property as well?
No. And so, no, we don't. We're not responsible. So we're asking those persons, commercial building owners, if you have drainage system, it's very, very important to have those drains assessed for maintenance. Now, some persons have seen it, but I can speak to what we have experienced here in the Port Authority. I've seen persons blow wells with compressors. The topology here on the island of Freeport lends itself to a point where if the well is not encased with a pipe and you go and you have someone blow that with a compressor, there's a tendency that that well will collapse at the bottom without you even knowing, which means you're reducing the capacity of that well. So instead of maybe holding 1,600 gallons, which is a tremendous amount, it may be half the capacity. So we're saying to persons to look at your methodology in terms of maintenance and determine whether or not you reduce the capacity because the well has collapsed. And if that's the case, you may want to have someone go in there to re-drill that. The second thing you want to be aware of, when someone go in to re-drill a well, make sure if the well capacity or the depth of the well is 150 feet, ask the vendor or the licensee, make sure they're a Port Authority licensee, to go 152 feet. So what that does is allow the vendor or licensee to cut new earth, because once he pull out his auger, it's going to clean the well out. If he only goes 150, you have a lot of mud inside that well, that mud is going to fall right back in. But the new earth is going to allow the licensee to clean out not only the walls of it, but also the well itself. So that's important to know as well.
Okay. So essentially, private owners
Are
have to pay
responsible.
for their own well service.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is great information,
It
and
is indeed.
definitely a 2-hour show if we had it. But Mr. Mack, if we can, we definitely want to come back to you on 1 or 2 things.
Sure, no problem.
And what we cannot come back to you on, we would love to be able to see some of that information on social media.
Sure.
And we'll just connect after the show. But if we can go over to Mrs. Mullings.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's talk a little bit about GB Power. Now, power is typically, well, power and water, very important, but power is typically the first thing people start thinking, when are we going to get our power back?
Yes.
Right? So tell us a little bit about what the Grand Bahama Power Company is doing to prepare for this upcoming season.
So the Grand Bahama Power Company has actually already activated its storm response plan. I think what customers can see and appreciate is the numerous weather systems that we've already been having that allows our employees to kind of stay in a state of readiness. So all of our employees have been aware of their storm roles. We have gray sky and we have blue sky. So gray sky is the roles that some of our employees will take on in the event of a storm. Employees have also been trained. We've activated and conducted simulations of the storm. So what it does is reenact in real time for employees if Storm A was to make landfall. What would you do? How would you respond? Things of that nature.
Okay. So there's a plan in place you've already activated. So they're ready to go.
They're ready to go. Now,
Yes.
how do we know, the public, how do you prioritize who gets energized first after you've done all your checks and you're ready
Yes.
to energize? Troy's looking at me and he's smirking, but
Yes.
I need to know how
That's a
soon
good question.
downtown is going to be up and running.
Yes. So that is a good question, extremely critical. First and foremost, once the storm passes, we conduct, similar to Troy, damage assessment. Based on those damages, we're able to bring that data back to our planning and scheduling team. Our priority of restoration efforts is first and foremost our generation plant. We need them to be able to generate power so it can go out to our transmission and distribution system. That's our second priority. Once we have our T&D assets and our energy facility up and running, we then begin restoring power to our critical feeders. These are areas such as the hospital, the well fields. Customers need water.
The hospital is downtown.
Hospital is downtown.
I just want to make sure you remember
Yes,
that.
yes. So downtown is
We will
included
never
in
forget,
that.
Alex. We'll
We'll never forget downtown. Places like our shelters, places of business establishment, and then we begin to restore our residential customers based on the damage. So you would have heard Troy say we work closely with building and development. It's because those customers that may have substantial damages to their homes, to their residential places, we're not able to restore power to until they get approval and inspection from the building department in the Freeport City area, and in the outskirts, it would be the Ministry of Works.
So thank you so much for bringing that up, because that is also a very important point.
Yes.
And if I can just jump over just for a quick second, Mr. McIntosh. So if I need to do an inspection so that I can get my power, what do I need to provide you or your team to do so?
Very important. And so something we learned from Matthew, particularly as well as Dorian, more than 90% of our residents don't know this particular information, and so we need persons to know this, is their address. Some persons or most persons are familiar with their constituency. They need to know the address, the legal description, which is your house number and your street name. Now, some persons have lot and block, or block and lot. So the first number, if you have two numbers with a dash in between, the first number is your block number, the second number is your lot number. But it's more so critical knowing your street name.
Okay. So know your street name, which is a part of that legal address.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Lot and street. I'm not an East. I can't say I'm in an East constituency. I need to say I am located at
no constituencies.
No
Lot
constituency.
block
lot
number A, block B, street name, whatever that is.
Waterfall Drive, whatever that is.
That is information.
Okay, now
so you can get that from conveyances? Where else can you get that from? What about a bill?
You can you'll probably see that on your power bill or your water bill as well.
You'll be able to find that information there.
That's correct.
Now, Nikita, before we pop over to Ms. Quinn, one quick question.
Yes.
We talked about when the power is restored.
Yes.
A lot of people always want to know when the power gets cut off. You know, is there any way that we can prepare for that? Do you guys have pretty much an idea of when do
That
you feel?
shutdown.
Yeah, the
Yes.
shutdown. When do you shut down?
So our past practice before Doreen was we don't execute controlled shutdowns. One of the things we learned from Doreen was how weather systems can quickly change, different from what was forecasted. So when Doreen was forecasted to make landfall, it came in at a lower category. It stayed stationary. What we learned as a team was we had employees now exposed and trapped into buildings, emergency centers. And so as a team, we would have made a decision to protect our most valuable assets, which is our employees. And so anything higher than a category 3, we will communicate to our customers, provide them sufficient time to do whatever preparations need to be done so we can get our employees out of those work areas into their homes and safe with their families. Because the reality of it is, right, when a storm is passing, there really isn't much we can or cannot do.
Right.
And so it's better for our employees to be home with their families, riding the storm out, and then able to respond.
Okay. Good. All right. So thank you so much from Grand Bahama Power Company. Just before we go really quickly, how can persons get information from you before, during, after the storm?
They can follow all of our social media pages. We're visible on Facebook. We're also visible on Instagram. We have pamphlets and flyers that would also be readily available at our headquarters office, and then also our call center, 352-8411.
Okay, thank you very much. 352-8411.
You know that by heart now.
Definitely, definitely. But with all this good information, I'll just follow on social media because I believe that they have this intact.
Okay,
then. All right. All right, so Mr. Cooper, we just want to come on over to you and talk about the Grand Bahama Utility Company and the work that I believe has been ongoing now, getting ready for the season. Tell us, what have you guys been doing?
Okay, good morning again. One of the first things was just to begin to get our minds right. There's a price for living in paradise. And one of those prices is that from time to time, you will be visited by adverse weather. That's just the reality of where we live. So what we started doing is, first of all, getting our people together and say, hey, in your personal lives, you need to begin to prepare. Because we recognize that the more prepared you are, the more available you are to assist us in your professional life. So we started there. We then began to activate our hurricane preparation plan. It speaks to who's responsible for what, under what conditions one is to report to work, and it outlines a number of things that people are expected to do or not expected to do whenever adverse weather visits our shores.
Okay. So and I think it was touched on a little bit earlier, so we had Matthew, that was a windstorm.
Right.
And then we had Dorian, that was a water storm. So we've experienced both sides of things. And persons are really, really concerned, particularly after a storm, about what they can do with the water, when can they do it, that sort of thing. Can you just give us an understanding of what actually happens when we go through the storm and some of the things that we need to do as tips to prepare for that?
Okay. There are some simple tips. One of the first ones is, and you hear this often, if you can save water in advance of the storm, that's always good. There's things like filling up buckets, clean buckets, your bathtub, and other vessels you may have at your home, if only for hygienic purposes, to be able to ride out the storm. We do our best to make our system as storm hardy as possible, but then there are some things one can never foresee, and there are some realities of life that may cause even the best laid plans not to work out the way you hope that they do. So it may fall on the individual to have some self-reliance, and that's where we say use a little bit of common sense, a little bit of past experience to prepare yourself as best you can, and the people and the things that you love. So we heavily suggest that you have a backup water supply. Consider the amount of persons that may be in the place where you're hunkering down, and for each person have, we suggest maybe about 4 gallons of water per day for that person. So it means a lot of water. So it means the bathtub, it means buckets, wherever you can store water safely and securely. And I stress securely because you have toddlers or small children wandering around, make sure they don't have access to it. So we want you to be smart about what you do. But small things like that can help you out a whole lot in trying to travel from the time you are about to be impacted by a system to the time that it passes. And like I said earlier, even though we may have the best laid plans, may not always work out the way we hope or would like. So do the best that you can as individuals. There are things we're doing as an organization. We can talk about some of those things further on.
No, I want to talk about some of those things now.
Sure.
Okay, Alex.
Because what happened is we all experience, we go through hurricanes. Other than Dorian, I don't recall losing water, the way we did with Dorian. And so I remember rationing my water in my jug to bathe in cool water. And so I want to know, like Nikita had said earlier, what they learned from Dorian. What has the GBUC learned from Dorian? And what can we expect that you are putting in place to prevent damage? Like you said, we can't predict, but what have you done? What have you put in place? What have you learned that's going to prevent any contamination if we have another major hurricane? Because, viewers want to know, listeners want to know, have you learned? Have you changed some things and so that we can ensure that we don't have something like what we had with Dorian?
Excellent question. Actually, there's been a lot of resources spent towards storm hardening and to backing up the system. What that typically means is that whenever there is a storm, there may be a power outage. But what we've done, a lot of our assets, that is our pumping stations, our well fields, we've actually gone ahead and installed backup generations so that in the event, and it does happen from time to time, winds take down a pole, there's no more power being delivered to that area, we can, once we get the all clear, start up those backup generation systems and get those systems back online a lot sooner than perhaps we could have in the past. And so that lessens the angst that the community feels. It's one thing to have gone through a hurricane. It's something else, particularly after the fact, not to be able to have water for hygienic purposes and also for drinking purposes. So we do our best to make sure that those assets are up and running as quickly as possible with those backup generation systems. So those are lessons learned and systems installed over the years as we've gone through successive systems over the years. So there is that element also. In addition to our overall system, there is always testing and evaluation of the water supply before it is given to the public, and there are always notices that go along with it. The water may be available to you, but it may not be available immediately after a hurricane for drinking purposes or for potable purposes, but it may be for hygienic purposes and for some other things you may need to use it for. So we will be advising you, and those advisories will come either through this team or whatever media is available to get that word out to the community, saying that, hey, for a time or until we tell you otherwise, we suggest that you don't use the water for potable purposes, or you may have to boil it or do whatever we suggest that you do, just to make sure that you get the most out of the water that you do get until we can do better. So that's kind of what we've been doing so far.
Okay. So Grand Bahama, that means that the utility company is also ready to be able to share some tips and some additional information with you over time, obviously. As we go throughout the season, you can expect on the Grand Bahama Port Authority page, Grand Bahama Power Company, Grand Bahama Utility Company, to be sharing information that you need to know. I've also seen some things on ZNS during news time.
Yes.
Right, so that information is also very helpful. So make sure that you're tuning in, that you're watching, you're following, download the Freeport Report app. Please tell city management things that need to be addressed. And it's your opportunity to have a real voice and to get your message out to the right people so that things can be rectified if necessary. So, and also use the app before a storm because the app is functional now, right? So download that and make sure that you are speaking with them, telling them, taking pictures as well so that they will know what's happening. And of course, we want to encourage you as well to look on our web pages. Additional information will be there. Get prepared. Be ready.
Be ready.
That's
That's
the goal.
I think we have encouragement and assurance now that the team is ready.
Yes.
The team is looking out for the city is ready, and that does give me a lot of assurance, a lot of comfort in knowing that they're prepared. So now we need to do our part and be prepared.
Absolutely. I'm hearing a lot about them just kind of working their incident action plans, getting people ready, securing their people to make sure that they would be ready to come out if something happens. And so thank you guys so much for being with us today. We always appreciate your help. Always good to have you. And of course, the invitation remains open. We want to hear from you again as necessary. Thank you guys so much. So we have more to come. The show just isn't done yet. The Red Cross, Grand Bahama Health Services, and Lucaya Service Company should be coming to talk to us in just a quick minute. And we look forward to having these conversations with them so that you can learn more. So we just want you to stay right there. Stay tuned. We'll be right back right after this.
to Freeport, the reawakened, the reimagined, the rebirth, the Renaissance capital of the Bahamas. Over $1.5 billion in investments. Marinas, cruise ports, downtown revitalization, residential developments. We're putting the city on the map. Want to know more? Just log on. Your future is only a click away.
Our city by reporting non-emergency issues in their neighborhoods, all through the convenience of an easy-to-use and free mobile app. You can instantly report issues from within the GBPA areas, quickly map issues you see on the street, answer a few questions, provide detailed descriptions, photos, and videos right from your device. Whether it's your neighbor or the responsible department within GBPA, those who need to know will receive an instant alert of issues reported. You can also comment on issues, vote them up, and share issues on Facebook and other social media sites to get even more involved. You can report matters such as illegal dumping, unpermitted construction activity, damaged water meters, and a host of other issues that may affect your neighborhood and the city at large. We all want to make our city comfortable and issue-free, and now there's an app just for that. Keeping our city well-managed and beautiful just got a little bit easier. All you have to do is see, click, and fix with Freeport Report. Download the Freeport Report app today. Available for free in Google Play and the Apple App Store.
Welcome to Pumpkin Patch. We're located at Brick House Plaza. We've been around for the last 2 to 3 years. We cater to kids age 1 to 5. We have a combination of curriculums that we use here at Pumpkin Patch. ABECA, Montessori, and our very own Ministry of Education. As we know, one curriculum isn't suited for every child, so we combine them to create a curriculum that suits every child's need. We enjoy kids. We have teachers that are the best here in Grand Bahama. We are open all year round for registration. Our telephone number is 602-4442. Please bring all your little pumpkins into a loving, safe environment.
We are back here on Focus Forward, having a wonderful day today, sharing with you lots of information on our hurricane preparedness show, and we would have spoken with the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Building and Development Services Department. We would have also spoken with the Grand Bahama Power Company, so that you can find out exactly what they've been doing to ensure that they can support us if we have a storm, and what they're doing generally. And of course, we had the Grand Bahama Utility Company that was sharing some tips and information and things that you need to know. So if you did not have an opportunity to see it, rewind, and you'll have an opportunity to take a look. And please share it with others. And while you're doing that, download the Freeport Report app. That is your opportunity to be able to share anything that you see that's happening around the city that you believe that our building and development services and city management departments need to address. All right, so if we can get back into our conversation, Alex.
That's a lot of information. That was quick. But they had to get
We
it
just
quick.
had to get it out there, and
Get
we
it
have
all-
so
get
much
it
more
all out there.
information. So much more information, and we want to give it as much time as possible. And we are very pleased to welcome back to the Focus Forward Roundtable Mr. Corey Cartwright, who is the Assistant Maintenance Manager at Lucaya Service Company. He is the guy that gets all the work done with his team on the ground, and so we're very happy to have you, Mr. Cartwright. Welcome back.
Thank you. You're very modest, Ms. Reading, at the end of the day. But it certainly is a pleasure to be here, to share and to have an opportunity just to give some of the residents a peek at what we do behind the scenes, especially during hurricane preparation.
Okay.
I heard
all
Corey
right.
was a little
So we're
afraid
going
of
to
being in the hot seat.
He was afraid of being in the hot seat.
Afraid to be in the hot seat.
I do not believe that Mr. Cartwright is afraid of being in the hot seat.
not
I do
afraid.
not believe that. I believe he is very prepared, but we'll have that conversation
I
and
have
we'll
questions.
see exactly what happens. So, and if we can also welcome to our roundtable for the first time, and I'm hoping that it is not the last time, Dr. Stacy Bevins-Lang, who is from Grand Bahama Health Services. Thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you for having me.
Great. So let's get into the conversation. Now, we want to talk about Lucaya. Obviously, within Grand Bahama Island, there's the city of Freeport. Port Authority has a responsibility for a portion of the city of Freeport as it relates to city maintenance and management, and Troy McIntosh and his team would normally address those things. But Lucaya, which is a large portion of the city of Freeport that comes under your preview, Mr. Cartwright, tell us, what is it that your team is doing to help prepare for this upcoming season?
Prayer. Plenty prayer.
Okay.
But as for the city ordinance, every year we go through the functions, the functionalities and the preparatory functions in order to get us where we need to be each year. Tree trimmings, drain clearance, ensuring street sides are up. Speaking with some of the residents who may be of a bit of concern for us when it comes to high winds exceeding their limits, and they are just projectiles that are now faced with just flying about the place. We have continued to work with residents who have been impacted since the last storm to ensure that they have what they need as far as getting them back into their homes. Even some of the new building structures that the Building Development Services have put in place, some of our residents have taken advantage of that. Most people have now changed from the wooden structure and sheetrock built to concrete, and that of the stilt foundation instead of just the single floor foundation. We have residents who were not committed but still returned to the Lucaya area, which is a good thing, just showing how important these storms do come. They will cause some kind of devastation, but we are very resilient in what we do, and we're prepared to go forward. We need to continue to be just the players that we are, meaning the leads that we are in the community when it comes to hurricanes. Grand Bahama has always been one of the islands that have been always affected, and we continue to bounce back no matter what we go through.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Sure.
I live in Lucaya. After Dorian, it took me a day to get back to my house because of some flooding. What are you guys doing to mitigate flooding for this hurricane season should we have a storm?
Well, at the end of the day, there's nothing that we can do. Given our archipelago, the approach that the storm decides to take, we cannot mitigate anything against that. Most storms normally travel in a northern direction, and they always come from where? The north part of the island. Right. It's never coming from the south. Had it come from the south, we'd be singing a different story right now, but being kumbaya. But nonetheless, the PSA messages, the commercials, word of mouth, anything that is there to let people know when a storm is coming, you need to make the decision whether you're going to stay or go. And if you plan on staying, you need to ensure that you have all of the necessary preparatory items that you need to weather the storm with. At the end of the day, there is not much we can do. We have to take forecastings from the news medias and be able just to work with whatever storm decides to come and how it decides to come.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I've got another question?
Yes.
Okay, I've got another question. Now, you're in the Lucaya area, but is there any evacuation plans in place, particularly for those people that live further out east and over the bridge?
I would say there's always been a plan. We have always stressed it over the years, even though most people may not have heard it. Some were unaware of it, and there are others who heard it. But nonetheless, we'll always say for those low-lying areas, you have to do a home survey of where your property is, and know that if you are in the valley, versus being on a ridge, your best bet is to evacuate before the storm comes and find other means in which you aren't going to hunker down during the storm with.
So, one more question.
Okay. We have to get on to Doc as well. So
being in the Lucaya area, if there is anything that I find that I have an issue with, whether I feel my neighbor has too much debris in their yard or anything like that, who should I call? Do I call the Lucaya Service Company?
You can call us definitely. You can call us at 350-9016, or you can go on our website at lasco.org and hit the complete task and just fill in the information, and we'll have one of our team members come out and visit and assess and get back to you as soon as possible.
It'll be anonymous, so if I report my husband, they won't know it's me.
Well, I can tell you, given the degree of your report, he might know it's you anyway, but nonetheless.
Okay, so persons who live in the Lucaya area, they would report you any concerns they have.
Yeah, any concerns, and even if it isn't our concern, we'll do our best to ensure that we give some kind of direction in which they need to, the right person, the right company, at the end of the day, ensuring that they get the service that they're looking for. You know, that's one of the biggest things, you know, your home, our service.
Okay.
I love it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Cartwright, for your information, and we want to encourage you again. Please make sure that you're following the Lucaya Service Company Facebook pages, social media, and Mr. Cartwright also shared the contact number 3509016 if you have a matter that needs to be addressed or you need to contact someone to get some assistance. And so at this time, if we can come over to Dr. Stacy Bevins-Lang, Grand Bahama Health Services. Very, very critical during hurricane season, right?
Yes, it is.
And things always happen. So tell us a little bit about what's happening on the medical side and how are you guys preparing?
Okay, as it was implied earlier, the hurricanes are rather unpredictable. And the Grand Bahama Health Services, we have started our preparation for the hurricanes in relation to the facilities, getting supplies, and all that is needed to assist our patients as they would present to the hospital. However, all of this can be for naught if the patients as well as the community at large doesn't assist us in this effort. So that is why I'm here to just, advise persons that they need to be medically prepared. And so I have just a few tips on how they can prepare.
Please share.
Okay, so that I don't miss anything, I'm just gonna list them off for you guys.
Great.
Now, we have to look at it in 3 stages: pre-hurricane preparation, during, and post. Now, with the pre-preparation, we must ensure that persons have all of the relevant medications. This is medications that by prescription, so persons with chronic illnesses, if you have to see your physician prior to, go right ahead. Get medications at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance, or at least that supply extra. Now, for persons in terms of over-the-counter medications, we can have persons having pain, they may have indigestion, so antacids, allergies, pain medications, these are all relevant, and utilize them accordingly. Now, we have, during this time, it's rather hot. So we have our elderly patients and our kids, they can become dehydrated. So in terms of water, please ensure that you have at least 1 to 2 gallons at least for drinking per day per person. Okay? Because during that time it's extremely hot. Now, the first aid kits, those are very essential. Make sure you have all of the relevant stuff for any wounds that may occur. And for persons who wear something as simple as a hearing aid, we may forget these things. Have your extra batteries, you have your high blood pressure machine, your glucometers, the strips, all of those things, they are very relevant. And as for the medications that we use, ensure that if they need to be kept in the fridge, you have a backup plan. And this is one of the things that we run into a lot with persons, mainly our diabetics. They would keep it get hot, it spoil. And so then when you use it, it's not gonna work. And those persons now present with major complications of diabetes to the hospital. Okay, so we need persons to definitely make sure they pay attention to that. Also other stuff like gloves, face masks, those are important as well. Now, for our in terms of your medical documents, we saw that during Hurricane Dorian, that was so unpredictable, no one would have even guessed that the hospital would have gotten touched. Now, it's good for persons to know what their medical issues are. So we're asking persons, know your medical history, know the medications that you're on. If needs be, store them on your phone, in the clouds, wherever, for those digitally inclined persons.
I think the clouds are just the best. It's,
Definitely.
We know it's somewhere in there.
Yes.
So we talked about the pre. What are some of the things that persons might need to do or prepare for during?
During, we just ask that persons stay indoors. Try and avoid all fallen debris. And definitely, persons who have a chronic illness, for example, diabetes, monitor your sugars as you're supposed to. Take all your medications on time, all the time, regardless of what's happening, to the best of your ability, I should say. And definitely, the food intake is going to change somewhat, but as much as possible, try and stick to the diet you're supposed to.
Right.
I know that's hard. But
very difficult for a lot of families because,
yes,
you know, when you
is.
think about storm season, you want to take all of the meat out of the fridge. You want to cook everything.
Yes.
You don't want to waste anything.
As quickly as
and
possible.
So, yes.
Consume it all.
Yes.
Barbecue.
So it is
Yeah.
very barbecue.
can
It is
come
very
and buy you.
important to be able
Yes,
to,
it is.
to stick to those diets.
And it may seem simple enough, but this has a major impact. For example, during Hurricane Dorian, I would have spent the time in 8 Mile Rock, and what did I do? I ate a lot of chips and all the sweets and the juices, and so we have to be mindful.
Right.
Try and stick to the plan as much as possible.
Okay. And what about after the storm now? Because this is where it becomes.
Oh,
really
this is where it
critical.
really gets crazy.
Right.
After the storm, wait for the all clear. If you don't need to come out, stay indoors. That's our biggest problem. Stay indoors because the fallen debris, you have to avoid standing water because we have the mosquitoes coming out. So if you have containers outside that would have caught dirty water or standing water, make sure you empty those things in a timely manner. We have things like malaria, dengue, all those things we need to prevent. And next of all, once the all clear is given, if you have to go to see a medical professional, then you go at that time.
Okay.
All right? Now, one of our biggest problem that we would have had after Dorian was person presenting with mental issues. And when I say mental issues, stress. Stress, anxiety, depression. So I advise persons, all of my patients, to just read up on the signs and symptoms. Simple tidbit, change in your appetite, not wanting to participate in regular activities. With all the work that needs to be done, you find that you're not willing or you don't have that oomph to move and do what you need to do. So these are just small things. As it relates to stress, persons tend to want to sleep a lot, or they may become very fidgety, fatigued, aggressive in some cases, nitpicking at small unnecessary stuff. Physically, you can have upset stomach, headaches, heart palpitations. It is crazy.
Okay.
So we just need you to be mindful of also those signs and symptoms. And if you need help or assistance, then you can definitely come to the Grand Bahama Health Service or to the Resilience, Grand Bahama Resilience, and they will assist you in terms of counseling and stress management.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Bevins Lang. We really appreciate that information. Always very critical to hear from Grand Bahama Health Services so that persons can plan and prepare and know what they need to be able to do. So that's good stuff. We really appreciate that. And Mr. Cartwright, thank you as well so much. Lucaya Service Company, we want to be able to ensure that we are following them on their social media so that they can get the latest updates during the storm season.
Yeah. It's just one thing I want to say. I just want to stress what Dr. Bevins said. It's very important for residents to listen for that all clear. Don't come out before just to check on somebody. Give us that opportunity to do an assessment throughout the island. We had an incident after Dorian where a tree fell on somebody who was passing by, and had the team not be in that particular area, that person would have needed to go to the run. So we are asking residents, because it does not happen to you, that doesn't mean it won't happen.
Right.
So we will always preach safety at the end of the day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so we have so much more to come. We're just not done yet. We have the Bahamas Red Cross that's here with us. And of course, we're going to be talking with their disaster manager so that we could get more information on how we can get help if need be. So we will be right back in just a few moments. Stay tuned. We'll have more information from Bahamas Red Cross.
our city by reporting non-emergency issues in their neighborhoods, all through the convenience of an easy-to-use and free mobile app. You can instantly report issues from within the GBPA areas, quickly map issues you see on the street, answer a few questions, provide detailed descriptions, photos, and videos right from your device. Whether it's your neighbor or the responsible department within GBPA, those who need to know will receive an instant alert of issues reported. You can also comment on issues, vote them up, and share issues on Facebook and other social media sites to get even more involved. You can report matters such as illegal dumping, unpermitted construction activity, damaged water meters, and a host of other issues that may affect your neighborhood and the city at large. We all want to make our city comfortable and issue-free, and now there's an app just for that. Keeping our city well-managed and beautiful just got a little bit easier. All you have to do is see, click, and fix with Freeport Report. Download the Freeport Report app today. Available for free in Google Play and the Apple App Store.
Freeport, the reawakened, the reimagined, the rebirth, the Renaissance capital of the Bahamas. Over $1.5 billion in investments. Marinas, cruise ports, downtown revitalization, residential developments. We're putting the city on the map. Want to know more? Just log on. Your future is only a click away.
Welcome back, and we are here on Focus Forward doing our hurricane preparedness show, and we're about to have a conversation with the Bahamas Red Cross, another critical organization that we need to be a part of the conversation today. And so I wish to welcome to the roundtable Ms. Stephanie Barr from the Bahamas Red Cross, who is the administrator, and also Mr. Hilton Cash. He's the disaster manager at Bahamas Red Cross. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. And good morning.
Good. So if we can get into the conversation really quickly, we've heard from so many other organizations and agencies, and everybody has their role to play. Can you tell us about the work that the Bahamas Red Cross is doing now? And if we have a storm, what could we expect from the Bahamas Red Cross?
Okay, so Bahamas Red Cross, we have our own disaster team. And we are attached to NEMA, and Mr. Cash and myself, we attend that meeting. We sit as assisting the social services in the whole scheme of things. And so we are there to assist them. We work the shelters. We make sure that we have personnel there because we have the first aid training to, go to all of the shelters. And so, so we are putting our team together now. Mr. Cash will speak further on that. But we are poised and ready to go should something comes our way this year.
I like what I hear. She's poised and ready to go.
Ready to go.
Mr. Cash, she's already put you on the spot, so I didn't even have you in the hot seat. I was going to pop over and ask you. I mean, so you're dealing with all the logistics with everything that's happening should a storm come in. Tell us, how does the Red Cross mobilize the volunteers and the resources to provide emergency shelter, food, and medical assistance during a storm?
Okay, so the Bahamas Red Cross acts as an auxiliary to the Bahamas government. So whenever there's a disaster, we mobilize our volunteers. Two areas we concentrate on. We concentrate firstly on shelter management, and we involve our shelter managers during a hurricane and in some cases after a hurricane. Prior to the hurricane season, we concentrate a lot on training. The training is important. So we train in areas of first aid because we want to ensure that all of our shelter managers are experienced in first aid. And we also train in areas like distributions. That's in case we need to involve ourselves with that after a hurricane.
Right.
We also train them in assessments, psychosocial So there's a number of training that we concentrate on so that we can better serve the public and we can better support other government agencies as well.
Okay. So another question I want to ask you. So the Bahamian public is now aware that all of the volunteers that you have has gone through extensive training and in different areas. Now, what are some key elements of your hurricane preparedness plan for individuals and families in the Grand Bahama community?
Okay, some of the key things that we put particular emphasis on is families knowing where the nearest shelter is.
Okay.
It's important for them to know, you have an A and a B plan.
Right.
So if, let's say, if your home, if you consider your home durable, you may decide to stay there, but you still should have a plan B in the event things change. So it's important for them to know where is the nearest shelter and also the safest route to get to that shelter.
Okay. And when we're going to the shelter, is there a checklist or something that we need to have with us when we go to the shelters, or the shelter going to provide everything for us?
Right. Thanks for asking that. Right. Right. It's important for persons entering the shelter to properly prepare themselves. Take the essential things: medications, prescription drugs. It's important that you take them because once you enter a shelter, you may not have an opportunity to get a supply. Also, water is essential. Special food. It's a must that you take your special food with you, special diets. And any essential items that you may need
Personally,
as
an individual inside there.
Yes.
So is this information on the Bahamas Red Cross website, or they can come into the office in the organization and get a pamphlet with this information? So, I mean, our time goes by so quickly on the show, we can't even get all the information out to them. So they can find this information. They can find it at the office?
Yeah, at the office.
At the office.
Okay, and you guys are located?
Jobson Avenue, Jobson. We're back home.
All right. Back home. Good. So persons can come there and get information. You had also mentioned that you guys are connected to NEMA as well.
Yes.
So being able to follow NEMA to get some of the information related to the work of the Red Cross and the things that they would be doing to support, residents and families and that sort of thing. Yes. Is there anything else you wish to add before we wrap up for the show? We know that you guys do a tremendous job. There are so many volunteers. Perhaps you might want to send a quick shout out to one or two persons that we normally help?
Yes, thank you for that, Galindia. I wanted to say thank you to all those persons who support us, our donors who really give to us the tremendous job that we're doing trying to service the community. We have our Meals on Wheels where we serve 40 persons every day, Monday to Friday, and we have another 25 that we do parcels at the end of the month. And so that takes a lot.
Yes.
And, we are a nonprofit organization, so we are eternally grateful to those donors who come and assist us. We're really, really, I say thank you to you, and thank you for your continued support to us.
Okay. And we want to encourage others, if you are interested in being able to support the Red Cross by way of becoming a donor, certainly reach out to Mrs. Barr and talk to her, talk to the team members, talk to Mr. Hilton, so that they can, see how they can get you in on that. I believe it's very important for us. We don't always think about Bahamas Red Cross until we actually need Bahamas Red Cross, right? But it's very important for the community to come together to support them otherwise. And so thank you guys so much for sharing this information with us.
Thank you all for having
we
us.
appreciate you guys being here. And of course, Freeport, Grand Bahama, all residents, we are approaching the season, and it appears that everything that we're hearing is good information to help you be ready for the season. And so plan, prepare, start doing it, buying your canned goods, get a little extra every week or 2 weeks when you go to the food store, start to, see how you're going to save your water and all of the various pieces that you need, medications, plan for everybody in your family. It is very important that we do that. Preparation is key.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So stay indoors, wait for the all clear, and use your Freeport Report app.
Yes.
I wrapped the show up in just three
Absolutely.
statements. That's it.
She wrapped it up. Thank you guys so much for being with us today, and we're very happy to have had all of our guests. Thank you guys for sharing the information, and over time we will continue to share it through our Facebook pages, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Invest Grand Bahama Power Company, Grand Bahama Utility Company, the Bahamas Red Cross, Lucaya Service Company, and Grand Bahama Health Services, NEMA. Just make sure that you have an opportunity to get the information that you need. Alex, great show today.
Informative indeed.
Yes, and we
Yes.
want to thank you for inviting us into your offices, your businesses, and your homes. Grand Bahama's Best Talk Show is always here for you. And until next time, I'm Glendia Sweeting.
And I'm Alex Thompson.
Informing you on the positive things that happen when you focus forward.
Listening to Focus Forward, sponsored by Invest Grand Bahama. Like us on Facebook at Invest Grand Bahama Small Business Bureau to stay updated. And drop a business card at the Grand Bahama Port Authority receptionist desk to have your business featured on our show. Tune in next Thursday, same time, same place, for Focus Forward.